So now it's time to look into some fascinating statistic. I know, everyone's favorite part of everything. So I apologize for no eye contact here, but I've got my papers just to read it all off to you so you can start absorbing some of the information I found. One of the most widely cited sources regarding young females and their waning interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is a 2007 survey by Microsoft. This survey was conducted across 12 European countries and had 11,500 female subjects who range from age 11 to 30. The study showed girls become interested in STEM topics around the age 11 and a half, but their interest begins to wane by age 15. Reasons the females gave for their disinterest included a lack of female role models and not getting enough practical, hands-on experience with STEM subjects. Additionally, 60% of those surveyed said they would feel more confident pursuing a STEM career if they knew men and women were equally employed in those professions and treated equally. 60%. Only 42% said they would consider a STEM-related career in the future. 57% of those surveyed said that teacher encouragement in pursuing STEM would make them more likely to pursue that career path. As an 11-year-old from France put it, a good teacher gives life to the subject. That was one of the best quotes I found, and so it just brought it home. A good teacher gives life to the subject. And there's another survey by Accenture and Girls Who Code shows that in middle school, girls are interested in computer coding. However, that interest wanes when they get to high school. Moreover, there is a noted gender gap in STEM fields, which doesn't bode well for any of us, considering STEM jobs are projected to increase rapidly, to the point where the U.S. could easily need foreign labor to fill those positions. Yeah, boy. Okay, so one of the professors who did this Microsoft survey said that conformity to social expectations, gender stereotypes, gender roles, and the lack of role models continue to channel girls' career choices away from STEM fields. So conformity to social expectations, gender stereotypes, gender roles, and our lack of role models are some of the biggest factors here. Excuse me. The survey also found that girls' interest in the humanities drops around the same age, but then rebounds sharply. Interest in STEM subjects, however, does not recover. Microsoft said, this means that governments, teachers, and parents have only 4 or 5 years to nurture girls' passion before they turn their backs on these areas, potentially for good. So, like I said, that middle school, start of high school period, even end of elementary, is crucial for really nurturing these talents and interests for STEM topics with young females. It was also noted in the articles that I looked at that top tech titans have been the target of criticism for years for their male-dominated working environments. High-profile accusations of sexism and harassment are not uncommon. So it looks like these girls' concerns about inequality in employment and treatment are far from unfounded, unfortunately. Because, I mean, kids are smart, kids listen, kids are perceptive and intuitive. So if females think, yeah, this isn't for me because I'm not going to be treated well, look into why that is, you know? Across each school and each household. Microsoft's own 2016 Global Workplace Report shows that 26% 6% of its employees are female, and less than 18% of its engineers are women. The company acknowledged in a report accompanying the survey that its success depends on the diverse skills and experiences of its employees. A diverse and inclusive workforce will yield better products and solutions for our customers, and better experiences for our employees. When we encourage girls to pursue science and technology, we double our potential to solve problems. So, and that is something that is true of many workforces. The more diverse the employee pool, the better. You know, the broader range of experiences and backgrounds and skill sets, the better. The more people you have the potential to pull in and intrigue and keep. So one thing that really stood out to me when I was looking through these surveys, the Microsoft one particularly, and all the articles written about it, because it was such a big talking point, especially with the first March and Expo. This was across European countries. Now, granted, you know, our Western world, just talking about Europe, yeah, there's a lot of shared values and education and everything. But where does the U.S. stand with females in STEM? So I found some statistics from the National Girls Collaborative Project, which are unfortunately a couple of years old now. But they show that with kindergarten through 12 education, female students' achievement in mathematics and science is on par with their male peers, and female students participate in high-level mathematics and science courses at similar rates as their male peers, with the exception of computer science and engineering. So even within areas where girls are interested in STEM, it is kind of segregated into, oh, these are more friendly for females and these are more friendly for males. That kind of mindset and that kind of perception or level of interest. In general, female and male students perform equally well in mathematics and science on standardized tests, but larger gaps exist between students of different racial and ethnic backgrounds or family income. Similar issues are found with AP classes and honors courses. Socioeconomics and parents' education levels come into play here. So even if you have a really precocious kid who's hardworking and you know, very intelligent, without the proper resources and support, not only for themselves but for their families, you know, outside of school, you're setting, you know, them up for a certain level of failure and kind of restraining them from really achieving their potential in certain regards. Higher education. The rates of science and engineering course taking for girls and women shift at the undergraduate level, and gender disparities begin to emerge, especially for especially for minority women. Women earn 57.3% of bachelor's degrees in all fields in 2013, earned 57.3% of bachelor's degrees in all fields in 2013, and 50.3% of science and engineering bachelor's degrees. However, women's participation in science and engineering at the undergraduate level significantly differs by specific field of study. While women receive over half of bachelor's degrees awarded in the biological sciences, they receive far fewer in the computer sciences, engineering, physical sciences, and mathematics. So biological sciences, So they could be biologists, possibly as teachers, possibly, I would assume this ties into, doctors, physician assistants, nursing, too. Which, obviously, that's huge. We need them. That's huge in Rochester with all the medical centers around here. And then going into the STEM workforce. Women remain underrepresented in the science and engineering workforce, although to a lesser degree than in the past, with the greatest disparities occurring in engineering, computer science, and the physical sciences. Women make up half of the total U.S. college-educated workforce, but only 29% of the science and engineering workforce. Female scientists and engineers are concentrated in different occupations than are men, with relatively high shares of women in the social sciences and biological, agricultural, and environmental life sciences, and relatively low shares in engineering and computer and mathematical sciences. So again, it's this separation of like, oh, these are the fields women should be going into if they are going into STEM at all, and these are the ones traditionally for men. And that's probably not something any of us are consciously reinforcing nowadays, but I mean, if it's a trend that we've been doing with society for so long, I can see it being something problematic, because it's, we have these preconceived notions that, yeah, we don't stop and think like, wait, why am I doing this and not this? If opportunities are better with this, or pay is better, or I'm only doing it because, my parent did this. So those kind of issues are worth considering. Race and ethnicity are salient factors in rates of participation in the science and engineering workforce. In 2013, and I know that's 5 years ago now, but 70% of workers in science and engineering occupations were white. So there is actual segregation with this. And I'm sure it ties into opportunities, socioeconomic statuses, education levels. These are not things that we can ignore. And I know I say this, blonde hair, blue-eyed white woman, but a lot of these facts do pertain to me. A lot of these do reflect, yes, this is what I've experienced. So that's why I'm putting all these numbers and statistics out there. And there is the issue, because when I was in school, in college, we were hearing that, yeah, more women than men are going to college now, so how is that going to change things? I feel like what I read in here said something slightly different. I'm sure, the numbers change yearly, but that is something to consider too. It's like, oh, well, if I'm living here and the best paying jobs are in XYZ and that doesn't require a college education, why go to college? So it's an issue of, okay, we have to make this practical, we have to make this worthwhile, we'll have to, go to college for a reason so you can actually earn a living versus having to have 2 or 3 different jobs like many teachers do nowadays. So yeah, I mean, that's where we kind of stand right now. Additionally, a study in the journal Science found that girls start to lose faith in their own talents by age 6, perceiving boys as the more talented group. Age 6. The research team said stereotypes were starting to show at this age. Suspected influences included exposure to media, teachers, parents, and other children. So one of the researchers, I'm not going to say his name right, so I'm just going to avoid that one. I will have links to these in the description too, though, so you can look for yourself. But one of the researchers told the BBC News website, "The message that comes out of these data is that young kids are exposed to the cultural notion that genius is more likely a male than a female quality. Early on, society's stereotypes can create differences in trajectory," which, again, is what we heard. At 5, 6, or 7, you're not thinking about a career, but soon you're making decisions about what courses to take and what extracurriculars to take part in. Even if the difference starts small, it can snowball into something a lot bigger. A fellow researcher advised parents and teachers to emphasize the importance of hard work. She told the BBC, "Studies suggest that everyone does better when hard work is believed as the key to success. In our studies, girls might be particularly impacted by the messages focusing on hard work. They became equally interested in playing the games as boys," when that was the motivating factor, thus conveying the importance of hard work to success. Thus conveying the importance of hard work to success could protect and even promote young girls' interests. As you can see, my specialty was not broadcast journalism. Sorry, I mean it's a vlog, it's informal. Hopefully, this is all coming through alright. Gender roles and media portrayals like blue superheroes and pink princesses are being shown to affect kids early on. So why does any of this matter? Let me get my face in the shot. Sorry about that, guys. Jobs requiring coding skills are projected to grow 12% faster than the overall job market through 2026. In fact, half of all high-paying jobs require coding skills. And the same research showed that even non-IT jobs require computing skills. Diverse creative teams are beneficial to companies and customers. We need women in STEM so they can have good career options when they enter the workforce. Jobs that pay well, have decent benefits, and offer stability. You know, those things that are so evasive to so many of us nowadays. We also need women in STEM so countries can stay economically competitive when technology and STEM-related fields are growing exponentially and pervade every aspect of our lives. The bottom line is that females need critical thinking skills, the ability to research and react logically and rationally, especially in a time when emotions are so high throughout the country. And this is me saying it, I've just obviously written it here. Especially when emotions are so high throughout the country, when so many people are still struggling and fighting for their rights. We all need to do our research, respect one another, and act in a way that improves our lives, the lives of those in our communities, and the earth at large. And these are many themes that will be reverberated throughout the March and Expo. These are values that need to be espoused. I want to talk about, the earth at large, including animals, the environment, and people we may not always see eye to eye with. Too many individuals in power act out of emotion, self-interest, or as a response to the hot button issue of the day. But we all of us, need to keep cooler heads and do what's best for everyone, and that starts with ourselves. So I've outlined some of the big obstacles that have been keeping women out of STEM-related fields, and going over all this information has led me to wonder, how do my experiences line up with those of the women surveyed? And what actually led me to, choose the fields of study I did? What got me intrigued with that? What kept me with them? And I figure, reflecting over all this may provide useful insight into how to get and keep today's young females interested in science, technology, engineering, and math.